Ancient Persia was a vast and powerful empire. King Xerxes ruled from his magnificent palace in Susa. He was known for his lavish feasts and grand displays of wealth. The king held a feast for all his nobles and officials. It lasted for many days. Queen Vashti also hosted a separate banquet for the women of the palace. One day the king decided to show off his beautiful queen. He summoned Vashti to appear before his guests wearing her royal crown, but Vashti refused. She would not be put on display like a prized possession. The king was furious. His advisors suggested that Vashti be punished for her disobedience. They feared that other wives might follow her example. The king agreed. He stripped Vashti of her royal title and banished her from the palace. A search began for a new queen who would be both beautiful and obedient. Among the young women brought to the palace was Esther. She was a Jewish orphan raised by her cousin Mordecai. Esther was known for her beauty and kind heart. Mordecai instructed her to keep her Jewish identity a secret. Esther found favor in the eyes of the king. He was captivated by her beauty and gentle spirit. Xerxes chose Esther to be his new queen. He placed a golden crown upon her head. He showered her with gifts and affection. Esther kept her Jewish heritage a secret, just as Mordecai had instructed. Mordecai, meanwhile, learned of a dangerous plot against the king. 2 royal guards were planning to assassinate Xerxes. Mordecai quickly informed Esther. Esther in turn warned the king, saving his life. The plot was foiled and the guards were punished. The king was grateful to Mordecai, but he did not know the full extent of his loyalty. Haman was a proud and vengeful man. He was the king's chief advisor. Haman expected everyone to bow down before him, but Mordecai, a devout Jew, refused to bow to anyone but God. This enraged Haman. He was furious at Mordecai's defiance. Haman plotted to use this as an excuse to harm all the Jews in Persia. He went to the king and accused the Jews of disloyalty. He claimed they were a threat to the kingdom. He convinced the king to issue a decree ordering the extermination of all Jews. Haman cast lots to choose the day for this horrific act. The day chosen was the 13th day of the 12th month, the month of Adar. Mordecai was devastated when he learned of Haman's evil plan. He tore his clothes, put on sackcloth and ashes, and cried out in mourning. He sent a message to Esther, begging her to intercede with the king. Esther was terrified. She knew that approaching the king without being summoned was a dangerous act, but Mordecai urged her to act. He reminded her that she had been placed in a position of power for a reason. "Perhaps you have come to the kingdom for such a time as this," he told her. Esther knew she had to act bravely. She called upon all the Jews in Susa to fast and pray for 3 days. She too fasted and prayed. After the 3 days, Esther dressed in her royal robes and approached the king's throne room. The king, seeing her standing there unsummoned, was surprised, but he held out his golden scepter to her, indicating his willingness to hear her plea. Esther invited the king and Haman to a banquet. At the banquet, Esther finally revealed her hidden identity as a Jew. She exposed Haman's wicked plot against her people. The king was furious when he learned of Haman's treachery. He ordered Haman to be hanged on the very gallows he had built for Mordecai. The king then issued a new decree, granting the Jews the right to defend themselves. On the 13th day of Adar, the Jews rose up and defeated their enemies. They protected themselves and their families from harm. The Jews celebrated their victory with great joy and feasting. They called the festival Purim, which means lots, in memory of the lots Haman had cast. To this day, Jews around the world celebrate Purim. They read the story of Esther, give gifts of food and money to the poor, and enjoy festive meals.